Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to go over this with you, and I cannot wait to share a story with you with some pictures that will really help frame for you this amazing training that we're going to go through together. So, first and foremost, would love to know how you're doing right now. How are you feeling in life? How are you feeling in business? If you want to comment below, go ahead and do that. Let me know. If you're watching the replay, comment there too. I check all the comments. Would love to know how you're doing right now, especially as we're stepping into session 2, season 3 of Business and Internet Mastery Training. So, are you ready for story time? The whole frame of everything we're doing here is to create a lifestyle that you dream of while you're serving customers who love you. And this model is going to break it down for you in terms of how I got there and how so many have had the absolute honor, pleasure, oh my gosh, to serve, support, coach, consult, train, have got there too. Literally for the last 30 years, 30 years, I've been helping people down this path. Got a real tight framework, but let's start with a little story. Just a little bit of an eye-opener here as to what the heck? How did you create that? And what should I go after? Cool? All right. First and foremost, imagine reaching a point where you figuratively won the lottery because you got multiple millions of dollars selling a business you created on your own or with, in my case, my ex-wife, the mom to my babies, Paige and Josie, that we built this business in about 4 almost 5 years with a beautiful team of people. Got to live the dream. For us, the dream was getting out and adventuring. Bought the Intruder. Not sure that I like the name of it. Sorry, it's kind of pixelated. It's kind of an older picture, if you will. The Intruder, brand new, put our Jeep on the back, took off in November of 2000 after selling our business October 10th of 2000. I was only 29 at the time. I told my mom when I was in my early 20s, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. Had reached that actually before we sold the business. But the idea here is, and I really want you to think about this for you, what is the dream life, lifestyle, or the lifestyle outcome you want from, if you don't have a business, from a business you could create. If you do have a business, from the business that you have. Does that all make sense? So let's go down a little story time before we step into today's perspective, today's training, and of course, the tactics, or as I like to say in this realm, the challenges along the lines. So for me, it all started with this. I would define it as my purpose early on. 1988, 89, I kind of was clear on this. That was, I love working with technology and I love helping people. So when those two meshed, perfect time in the world of computers, right? Back in the 89, 90, this is before Windows, MS-DOS, these things, WordPerfect, Lotus. Was Microsoft Word even there? I don't know if it was or not then. I don't remember. WordPerfect, I think, was the thing people were using. Microsoft Word was in that baby stage. Really going after that. DBase, Fox Pro. Just saying those words blow me away. That's what I used to help people program in and those kind of things. We started that business. The business that actually created success for us was the internet service provider business called Internet Services of Michigan. We evolved 1996. We moved into a storefront in downtown Howell, and we did internet, connected people to the internet, which a lot of people didn't even know what that meant. Computer upgrades, computer custom programming, web hosting. Over here, I think it said web design. Computer sales and service. We had a cam pointing into downtown. It's called the Howell webcam. It pointed into downtown Howell 24/7. It wasn't live. It snapped pictures like every minute and put them up. And then we had a TV over here. You can barely see it. That showed the images from there. And at night, boy, it got wild because there was a place 2 doors down that was like a bar, a pub. People would come out kind of drunk, have some fun. And that all evolved from running this to living into this model. Now, I didn't develop the model before we ran the business. The model formed after I ran the business and looked back at what we just did by, happenstance, by just, having good intuition, having good mentors, And the model is, if I was going to do it again, or if I'm going to teach you how to do it, create a really profitable, purposeful business, which we'll get into in some of our perspective keeping. This is how I would think about it today. So I hope story time here with you and I is kind of igniting some passion, getting you, I don't know if it's a motorhome for you with a Jeep on the back, going into the United States and Mexico, and I don't think we went to Mexico. I don't even think we went to Canada, but we did a huge tour for about a year of the eastern part of the U.S. and ended up landing in Fort Myers, Florida, and then ended up putting some roots here, having some babies, and rocking it out in 2002, 2003, 2004. That kind of scene. But I really want you to think about that as we start this conversation today. If things go incredibly well, and I'm going to frame for you when things go incredibly well, what is the dream life, lifestyle outcomes you want that business to help you build, help you create, help you sustain? Take a moment with that. For me, it was real clear, and with my ex-wife, it was real clear. We wanted to get in a motorhome and travel with our dogs. We had 2 big dogs, Peanut and Becky, and they were with us the whole time, and it was an amazing experience going through this. Don't get me wrong, there was times where we had issues. We got the flu down in Key West, the bad flu, where I couldn't even get out of the seat for a week. It was crazy, but good memories, good times. And I would say, just as a total side note, completely open, vulnerable with you, when my ex-wife and I talked about the very best times of our relationship, which was about 14 years as a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend kind of scene, we said it was when we were having adventure, spontaneity, newness. A lot of the stuff that I teach is a certified high performance coach, which I'll get into in just a minute. We'll talk more about that. But the idea here is this. We were clear about that. So many people aren't. That pulled us to really live into what became this. We lived into this. We did it by accident. For you, I want you to have that as a plan. It would have catapulted, let's put it that way, catapulted our success if we knew this beforehand. It would have been like 9-day difference. And we did really well. We would have done exceptionally well. Hence the exceptional business model. So the storefront, just a little bit of story. There's me with one of my Mountain Dews in my dungeon downstairs in this big storefront. We had a downstairs dungeon, we called it. And with a lot of our servers, server here. And I was probably building one or getting one ready to be put in a rotation here. I think, if I looked over here, I can barely see, but I think that's December of 1998 is when this picture was taken. You got the big monitors and me on the phone, and I had a rest. Finally got headsets. Next, I think we had headsets. I just didn't have mine plugged in. Me with, the good old days down there in the dungeon. All the books, everything else. Then this is how our modems looked before we went to another newer technology where they were in racks, kind of like the movies where you see racks. We literally bought literature sorters. We put these on the side, got fans. These were all US robotics courier modems. These are the port masters, the modems connected into that. People would call in to get on the internet. They'd be on one of these guys, one person per modem. And that would connect them to this. That would connect it to the internet, which is brought in on what back then was a huge T1 line. And I'm only telling you this because we put in the time, the energy, the effort to really make this work. And so excited to kind of go over the tech piece of this. And then look around. By the way, this picture was in a bedroom in the house we started in. That's what the bedroom was. Then we moved to the big building. This stayed in the house, and then we had the big building literally, I want to say 3 blocks down the road. And there's this original servers we started with. And everything about this, as maybe chaotic as it looks with the wires, lived into this guy. We were ultra clear about what we were offering. We were ultra clear about who our customers were. We're ultra clear about all the things we're going to cover as part of running an exceptional business. We also developed and maintained great systems. And you're going to see that show up in here. And those systems are the reason why we could go and grow the way we did and, get this, eventually retire because somebody bought us, because we were able to scale above and beyond the smaller mom and pop shops who did not have good systems that were consistent, that created a customer experience. You follow? I love showing these pictures off. I hope you like it. So that all being said, let's go ahead and jump into how you can create, from a fundamental perspective, an exceptional business. And I'll reflect back on these pictures and internet services in Michigan and even my businesses now, to kind of give you illustration as to how this can map for you. But for right now, I want you to think about this. What are the customer outcomes that your business produces? Like how, when you think about your customer experience, how are their lives better or their businesses better because of you? And the more you can concentrate, you've probably heard this if you do any research in the world of running an exceptional business, the highest performing businesses are ultra clear on the customer's experience and what the customer's outcome is. The smart businesses today have an outcome, the customer's outcome needs you in their life consistently over the long term. Does that make sense? Like there's some form of recurrence, some form of subscription in the case of that business. We had 10,000 people paying us about $20 a month. Some are more, some are less, depending on what they had. But that's the concept. Do the math. We built that from zero. Pretty cool. There was a guaranteed paycheck every month. And it was pretty substantial. So I really want you to think about that. What customer outcomes can you provide, and it's part of our model today, to really go through and maybe build recurring revenue. Now, if you watch session 1, we kind of painted a frame for that with starting from scratch. Today, I really want you to go after what's possible. That frame kind of set the stage. This is okay. Here's the map for how we're going to build an exceptional business. Secondly, I want you to think about your lifestyle outcomes. What's your dream life? What are you doing? Because your business is humming and running very well, exceptionally. What are you doing in life? How many trips are you taking? Are you opening another business? Are you selling your business? And if you do, what are you going to do then? I still have, and I'll link to it below, the actual photo log. I don't know if they called it that then. Travel log? Travel log is what they call it then. Not like a vlog, but just pictures of our journeys in our motorhome after the business sold. So if you have some fun, if you have some time, you can click on that, go through it. It's still old, archaic. You'll see it's the old style of how you coded websites. I did it all by hand from the motorhome, which is crazy. They didn't have Wi-Fi back then in any of the motorhome, like the campgrounds. So I was walking my little laptop over to the office usually, and I connect to their phone line and just upload and download and do all this stuff. Kind of crazy. Hope I'm not getting too technical on you. But the concept here is really clear. When you dial this in and you get these fundamentals down, you can really step into having a life full engagement, joy, confidence, presence, consistently over the long term, which happens to be the definition of what it feels like to live in high performance. So what is high performance in life and business? So as you may know, I'm Charly Caldwell II, certified high performance coach. I've coached over 3,000 individual and group sessions. So honored to be able to tell you that over the last seven years, I think. Yeah, I think it's 7 years. It's been a massive ride of awesome. Very committed to helping people go along that path. I'm blessed that we have a beautiful mastery community where we have a lot of certified high performance coaches. So I'm pretty busy, going to be busier as we're moving forward. So if I can't help you in line of you getting more clarity, energy, courage, the things that we're going to talk through in just a minute along your path, we've got beautiful people that can. So let me break down high performance real quick, then we'll jump into that. Sound good? Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. So when you think about high performance, the very first thing we do is we get ultra clear about what we call the core competencies, and they come from the book High Performance Habits. Like, what are we focused on? How do we want to show up in the world? What are we clear about? How we want to be, how we want to interact, what success looks like? That's like sessions 1 and 2 of this 12 sessions built on high performance habits. The idea of going through a process to help you feel more confident, more joyous, more purposeful. Then after that, if you continue along the path, we go into this realm. This book has a whole set of sessions behind it, another 12, to feel fully alive, charged, charge, in the bigger sense of feeling that connection to love and life. So we do sessions like creative expression, control, in a good way, consciousness, caring, connection, challenge, really going after our best self for the long term, but getting the emotional connection and depth there to fuel us. And then finally, we go through what's called the declarations, another 12 sessions that really help us dig deep, give us the fuel, the depth, the articulation for really going after a life of full engagement, joy, confidence for the long term. If you want to make it real for you on a day-to-day basis, we have our beautiful high performance planner that helps you really dial in through a list of morning prompts and evening prompts, along with weekly and monthly sort of strategy, prompts and assessments to really dial in how you want to feel every day towards being your best self. So just want to make sure you got the frame there. If you have any interest in high performance coaching or learning more, there's plenty of opportunity. We have the sessions in our mastery community in a group way. We do that typically once a month. And then if you want the one-on-one experience, either I or some of our beautiful coaches are more than willing to help you there too. But it all starts down below. You'll see a way to get into an application to ask some questions to see if that's even something that will help you. I can tell you this, the business owners that I have helped in high performance have reported higher levels of profitability and higher levels of emotional connection, passion, and a lot of these P's that we're going to start with as part of our opening perspective keeping part of the beautiful whiteboard for today. That all being said, if you don't have your notes out, make sure you get them. If you don't have the worksheet, it's linked below. Make sure you download it. It looks just like this, which looks just like that. It's called the Exceptional Business Model. So why are we doing this? Why are we going after this beautiful, exceptional business? Big reason. So many people, especially in high performance, report that they love helping other people. Some people, they don't love helping other people, but they eventually get there, and that ignites them towards feeling like they're living a full life. So if this is all over your head, or you're like, you know what, not really about helping other people, this may not be for you. If there's any inkling of helping others, and you want to do it in a profound way, like we did with Internet Services Michigan, this is for you. So these 5 P's that I've developed, or kind of made my own, if you will, is how we get the fuel and we can assess ourselves to see if we're living our best selves over time. Does that all make sense? So the very first P, and you've heard me use it already a bunch of times, is having a business built on purpose is all part of having an exceptional business. And you know what? I'm going to draw that in for you right now, because you're going to see it show up here. The most exceptional businesses, think Apple. Let me think about that. Microsoft's now really purposeful. Chipotle, really clear on their purpose. Whole Foods, very clear on their purpose. You can see it on their walls when you walk through there. Is the driver for everything in a business. And typically in the world of high performance and the world of entrepreneurs, the best, highest paid, highest performing entrepreneurs are incredibly clear about their why, their purpose. If you need help here, part of high performance helps you there, but if you want a quick hit on this, go watch Simon Sinek's TED Talk. Start with why. Really, really critical. It'll really help you understand, here's what's going on, here's how that should lay the lay of the land, all those kind of things. Cool? So a common coaching move is to assure on the line of purpose, in the sense of your business, how well do you feel your business is living, being, helping the world purposefully? And in the frame of high performance, we usually measure it 2 ways. Is it helping people improve their lives? Or helping people grow their businesses? Maybe it's doing both like I do. 0 to 10. If you want to rate your business right now, let's just think about the last month. How well your business is helping the world purposefully. Where does that set for you? Do your customers report back, thank you so much. My life is better in these ways because of you. And they may not say those exact words, but you kind of get what I mean. Or do they say, hey, you know what? Because of you, my business is doing better. And I hope you sense how we're kind of hitting on both of these marks as we're doing this work together. Pretty cool, huh? I love how I role model what I teach. Part of what we teach in high performance, I'm teaching you how to think. I'm role modeling it. And oh yeah, baby, I'm challenging you too. Next P is passion. And this one is a big one for business owners. I've coached a lot of business owners in the last 3 years who've said I lost my passion for my business. And of course, typically, not always, when passion's lost at an ownership level, depending on the size of the business starts to do a dip or doesn't do as well in sales. That can happen. A lot of times when they're in low energy states, the owner, who may be the person selling, whatever that is, they're the ones that kind of, oh my gosh, I have no energy, and all of a sudden their sales die or dip. Does that make sense? So I'd love to know for you in the last month, for your business, whether it's small, big, or whatever, how passionate are you, and if you have employees, how passionate have they been, emotionally engaged, enthused at helping the world? Are they sticking behind your purpose? Are they kind of like, it's a job? And what can you do if that number's low to bump that up? So take that passion number. If it's below an 8, think about a couple things you need to do. 10 being the highest, 0 being the lowest. If that passion number is below an 8, think of a couple things you can do to bump it up. If you need some help, let me know. I'm here for you. Comment below. We'll have that discussion. We'll own it. Next, how positive are you, your employees, your team, your virtual assistants, in terms of energy, bringing the joy, the love, the care to your work? And think about for the last month. I hope you can see how powerful this assessment of the 5 Ps is for your business. Because man, if you did that every month, how do you think your year would go? I even challenge you. If you did that every week, maybe every day, what? You could do it as part of this guy. Really sorting out how you're doing in each of these Ps. Does that all make sense? Oh, this is so gold. I love doing this with you. Positive. 0 in the last month, yeah, tanked. I got sick, employees were sick. I was just trying to keep a good level of energy, not a positive. I was just kind of coming in neutral. Some days I was off. But what is it for you to sustain positive? And we'll talk about that in these 10 areas in just a minute for the long term. This is all a big part of the high performance conversation. Next up, productivity. How productive are you, your team, your business towards consistently helping the world in the beautiful ways you do? So productivity, when we measure it in high performance, what we're talking about is we're hitting the marks with our deliverables in a business, but we're also working on ambitions to help people in even more ways or better ways, more articulate ways. We're paying attention to where the market goes depending on your business, and we're bringing in new ideas, new strategies, new techniques, and testing and measuring, improving and removing them. You follow? So in the last month, how have you done there? Or how's your team done? Or how's your business done? Have you been just kind of ho-humming it? Or have you been really stepping into being a productive, like group-oriented, let's make things better philosophy? That kind of comes from purpose. It also comes from passion. Comes from being positive. You see how these P's stack? What is that for you in the last month? 0, we're tanked. Nobody's getting anything done. Our customers' business is falling apart. To 10, we are owning it. We have time allocated for taking care of our customers, but time allocated for making sure we're looking into the future, seeing what we need to learn, know, be, do, whatever that is, to be the best we can be for the business that we're in. Follow? For a lot of the thought leaders that I teach and coach, they're talking about, I'm on the hunt and finding new material and new ideas while I'm creating new curriculum and new courses and new webinars and new live casts to really help in that way too. But it's all part of my planned week. It isn't like total overwhelm and stress because I'm clear on it. I'm going after it. Again, high performance principles at play. The last P, the 5th P, profitable. So I'll put profit here. Profit in the business. We're taking care of our expenses. We've got more money coming in every month than going out. We're growing a profitable enterprise. My challenge for you is to grow a profitable enterprise you can sell, like I did. And I've kind of helped others and partnered. I actually don't partner, I profit share and really own that conversation. So in the last month, have you grown, if you're the owner, your net worth by any amount? Like grown asset, grown the number in the bank that you're saving or putting away for the future. And maybe the last month hasn't been profitable because you reinvested in the business to grow it. And that's totally cool. But that's a big part of that conversation in making that happen. So I hope you see how these 5 Ps kind of fuel our why, fuel our perspective as we step into this beautiful model. And you can already see the connection between purpose and purpose. Get clear on that and bring this kind of stuff to this. Whew, this stuff is magic. That all being said, now we're going to shift into the training mode, training portion of today's mastery training. How to create, build, and maintain an exceptional business. Follow? Oh, this is so gold. So the very first thing we got to start with, especially for a lot of the smaller businesses, especially the solopreneurs that I coach, is we got to start with you. Because guess what your business needs? You. And it needs you fully energized. It needs you purposeful. It needs you passionate. It needs you positive. It needs you productive. And those P's, not always, most of the time, equate to being profitable. Now, if you haven't attended our health, wealth, and happiness training, I'm just going to touch on it briefly. There's 10 critical areas you've got to dial in. I'm going to go over them really quickly with you. But I'd love for you to assess how well you're doing in each area. Just, yeah, I got that dialed in. No, I need some work. If you really want more training there and you haven't watched it, go back and watch the health, wealth, and happiness session that we filmed. You could do starting from scratch and or the session on the exceptional life model, which looks similar to this. And that will really help you dial these in. But these 10 areas, the first is sleep. How are you sleeping? 7 to 10 hours or 7 to 9 hours a night. Good rest. Hydrating, eating, exercising, taking breaks throughout your day. Happiness, creating things that help others, being around people that generally uplift you. That's kind of how we define happiness. Being present, having your finances dialed in, because I can tell you that really helps you be better when, like as a person, being healthy, wealthy, and happy, when finances aren't tagging you. Survival, fear mode. Purpose and daily plan. So if you want more articulation and depth there, go back to our other training and really dial it in. If you want to go through the 10-day health, wealth, and happiness challenge, I cover each of these 10 areas, one per day. We start with sleep. We go over that, give you some exercises, got some worksheets and downloads in there too that will help you with it. Really powerful. You follow? Just want to make sure if you are not energized, your business is suffering. The people that you're blessed to be able to help and serve are suffering. It's your job to take care of this so that you can really make that connection. Think about this. Maybe last night you partied too late. Today you got a networking event. You go in that networking event and you're like, oh, got a massive headache. People come to you, hey, Char, I would love for you to help me with my online presence. I'd love for you to look at what I got. Yeah, okay, I'll take a look at it. Versus, okay, well, tell me about what your goals are. You feel the difference? You kind of know what I'm talking about, I hope. You sensing that? That's what I'm talking about here. And it goes all over the place. So what are you doing to keep your body sustained? High levels of emotional, mental, physical vibrancy, energy. Earlier today, I went out and ran 2 miles. Got a lot of filming we're doing today, a lot of help, a lot of Q&A, a lot of sessions, all these kind of things that I want to make sure I have my energy. Like today will be a full 10 hours of training and answering questions and stuff like that. And just making sure I'm being the best I can be, owning it for you, being here in the moment. You follow? I think we got that dialed in. The cool part about the model is you can rate yourself. How well am I living into maybe the 5 Ps as a rule, but just being the best me I can be? And maybe you say for the last week or the last month on the model. And what I love is you can print 2 copies of these. And I'm going to give you the completed one too. You'll be able to download that below. And you can use these boxes and these arrows to rate yourself in these areas. So you would have numbers in these boxes instead of the words. And that would be your rating. You follow? It's kind of cool how that works out. Somebody pointed that out to me when I was teaching this a while back. Pretty cool. And I want to make sure we dial you in. So that's the first part. We spent a lot of time there. Now, the other part of having an exceptional business is what? Being clear about who and how you serve your customers, or in the case of thought leaders, affiliates, referral sources. You could call it all kinds of things. And you've got to be clear about who those people are. And based on the different things that you provide, we'll get into that in just a minute, what that looks like for them, what their outcomes are. Because of what you're doing, how are you bettering their lives? Bettering their income, per se? Bettering the world. You follow? So great business is you and your customer, your affiliates, referral partners, profit sharing, whatever that is. And in between there are three critical areas that you've got to own on a consistent, enduring basis. The first area is this first arrow, and I'm going to put actually we'll do it in red. Very important is your relationships are. What are you doing to create, build, and maintain the very best relationships with your customers? And I got to tell you, if you think about passion and energy in maintaining part of that relationship, we could talk about customers, future customers. How are we bringing energy to that? We could talk about existing customers. How are we keeping that energy? Especially if we have a recurring service. We can talk about past customers. How are we reaching back out to them and say, hey, we've worked with you in the past. We'd love to see if there's anything we can do to serve you now. Do you have systems and processes in place? We'll get to that in a minute. One of these boxes covers that. You follow? So when we think about relationships and we map that into the online world, what are we doing to create relationships? And that's where ALS comes into play. What are we doing to go after awareness? To let the world know, hey, we do these things and we might be able to help you. What are we doing to create leads? And what are we doing to create sales? I'm also going to talk a bit about, are we clear, and this is actually the next item, on our most profitable, most fulfilling, and desirable products, services, solutions. So let's break that down a little bit. We have the R here. What are we doing to create, build, and maintain exceptional relationships? When we map that into the online world, even the offline world, what are we doing to create awareness, to put a consistent message out there? A lot of times that's social media, email marketing. What are we doing to get people who may not be interested in buying from us just yet, but they're interested in learning more about what we can do because it might be on the front end of that journey? We typically call those the learners or the early shoppers. They're not the buyers. They're the learners or the early shoppers. Does that make sense? Next up, the second arrow is O. What are our offers? What are we offering to our customers, affiliates, referral sources? We think about most fulfilling, most profitable, most desirable products, services, solutions. So in the world of thought leadership, our offers could look like a monthly subscription where you're going to be helped, trained, coached, supported, and have Q&A. Time to ask your questions, get the support you need. And that's exactly what we've defined as part of our mastery community. That's the offer. But I'll tell you, an exceptional business can have great relationships, can have great offers, but until they have the last arrow, T, transactions, they're not a business. In order to have a sustainable business, an enterprise, you have to be creating cash flow. As my good friend Mark, accountant, manager, controller, amazing guy, says, cash flow for life, baby. So many business owners don't know how to create, build, and sustain like great cash flow. Exceptional businesses do. And if you watched our previous training, you know the session 1, season 3, session 1, you know how I tied in recurring revenue to hitting your dream level of income. That's critical for that. Recurring revenue is when somebody buys something from you and it's a subscription and the money just keeps flowing every month. Because here's what we know, we have recurring expenses. Every month usually, a quarter or half year depending on what it is. Phone every month, Internet every month. Insurance maybe every half year or every year. These things are coming. We've got to build and be smart about our business. That's the reason why we're able to sell the big business. We had tons of subscriptions. They bought our subscriptions. They didn't want any of the other parts of our business. They wanted the recurring revenue. So write that down. And if you have your notes out, which you should, be writing these things down, but also be thinking about where do I need to press the pedal forward to build my business. We'll get into some of the nuance in just a second. What are the relationships that I got to create? And maybe it's with partners. Work with a couple people who are service-oriented. And what they need to do was find people who naturally having the conversation about their service and could refer them. So a great example is a divorce attorney. He got partnered with counselors, psychotherapists. His approach to divorce wasn't about litigation. It's about mediation, doing the right thing. Sometimes people want to self-mediate, meaning they just need somebody to overlook the process to make sure it's in alignment with the court system. And so he went with that angle to something, and boom, 3-5 consistent clients a month. Doesn't need a lot. That's not all the clients he needs, but that's a big, consistent referral source. So he knew to really go after creating, building, maintaining relationships with referral sources. Follow? And just making sure they're taken care of. The offer, I help people with mediation, transactions when somebody buys, they give him money, and he helps them through a process. You follow? So I want to make sure you're seeing the frame here. A couple examples of that. We got my philosophy of subscription membership sites. What we're doing, we're creating great success with it. In our third year, generated multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars just doing this. Living into my purpose. Helping you from where you're at to where you want to be in life, in business, or online. You follow? Or any combination thereof. So we got to be real clear about this. But here's what we know. The very best businesses ride all of this on top of presence, like being there, care, and compassion. I can go into a restaurant, I can go into a service-oriented business, and if they've got trained well, or they have a good owner, a good leader, you can see they actually care about my success or taking care of me. Compassion's definition, acknowledging my struggle, them having a desire to alleviate. The very essence of what a business is, helping people, change tires on a car, fix something in your house. Whatever that would be, that's the compassion. It's built into business. But this part, how many times have you gone into a restaurant? Nobody pays attention to you. Even they look at you, they're like, oh yeah, see it. But they don't even come over and say, hey, you know what? It's going to be just a minute. We've got overload right now, or we've got seats we're trying to clear off, whatever that would be. And you're like, this is crap. Why are they not talking to me? Why are they not communicating with me? Why are they not present with me? We went on a trip. Great juxtaposition here for you. We were in Dublin, Ireland, and we went on a trip with this guy, Shane. High rated on TripAdvisor. He was incredibly present, caring, compassionate as he took us to different pubs in the Dublin area. It was amazing. Then the very next day, we went on another tour. The tour guide was the exact opposite. Couldn't give a crap about us. He just living into a job. Like, we asked him questions, he was kind of grunting at us. He didn't want to talk to us. I'm like, oh my gosh. If this business isn't getting terrible reviews and isn't shut down in a year, I'll be surprised. Unless they replace this guy. I don't know if he's the owner or he's just subbing or what. But that was a juxtaposition. So my challenge for you, and this is what I do, and I usually tell my wife when we go to restaurants or in anything, I'll say 672. 672. I'll rate the people in a business. And I would challenge you, if you go to a restaurant today, tomorrow, whatever that is, even if you go to Chipotle or McDonald's or wherever, whatever that is for you, just to say, is this cashier, is the person I'm interacting with that represents this business, how present are they with me? How caring are they with me? How compassionate are they with me? I'm known to give insanely high tips when those things are 8s or above. Just ask the guys at Continental, and the gals at Continental, down in Naples. Like, they are so dialed in on presence, care, and compassion, but it comes from the top. The owners are that way. The managers are that way. The entire staff is that way. They're measured on that. You follow? So as we map this into your business, how are you doing here? If you think about the last month, how are you, your team, your employees, even in emails, how present are you with them? How caring are you in them? How compassionate are you in them? Are you adding transformational statements? Like if you ever get an email from me, usually it'll say, happiest of Wednesdays to you, Bob. And I'll say, I hope you're having a great day. And then I'll talk about what it is that and then I'll say, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. I'm here for you. Take care. Bye, Charlie. Sometimes I even say big hugs and lots of love because I believe the world needs more love. But that's demonstrating this. You see how that presence, care, and compassion, when you and your relationships, your offers, your transactions ride on this, it's exceptional. There's no other way to put it. People want to know they're taken great care of. In the world today especially, that's demoted in many places. We're seeing that all over the place. My challenge for you, and maybe this is on a personal level, bump that up. Bump that up for you, your loved ones, even yourself. Just be present with how you're feeling. Maybe put the digital devices down. Just chill. Maybe connect with nature. Go out and feel leaves, smell some flowers. Get some presence in your life. Are you lacking there? If so far you need any help with what we're covering, because I know we're covering a ton, please let me know. As you know, if you're in our mastery community, you know this to be true. My job here is to help, support, care for you, take care of you, love on you, challenge you to be a better you so you can have the best life and the best business. And I hope I do a good job of that. I hope you're seeing that being role modeled here. It's really critical to me that I'm that guy. And it's not like I'm faking that in any way. That's just who I am. But once I got clear about me and dialing in, and thanks to high performance, I was able to dial that in fast and keep it. Dang, watch out, world. That's how it's been since 2012 for me. Kind of a little annoying to some of my family members, just because I got so much energy. They're like, the funniest part, total side story for you. I'll go out to my daughters. I have them half the week. And I'll go, what do you guys want to do? You want to play? And they'll be reading, they'll be chilling because they've had a heavy week at school. And one of my daughters will say to the other, it's your turn to play with Dad. I find that as a compliment, although it might not be. But you get the idea. But that's presence, care, and compassion dialed up. I hope that helped. So now, to have a really exceptional business, what's next? Got any ideas? It's to have great systems that are automated where they can be and very personal. A lot of people that I've coached and helped, when they do email marketing, for example, they'll put together emails that go out every week and they'll batch them. So they'll do them like, maybe for the next quarter. Like if we're in third quarter every year, they'll batch the next 12 for fourth quarter. But when you get them, you're just like, this wasn't, what? It's like, hey, Charlie, sometimes you think you need this, you don't need that. Here's something that will help you. Click here. There's no story. There's no struggle. There's no connection. It doesn't feel like they're present in the email. And you can sense that, or caring or compassionate. So that's just one small example of this. The reason our big business was able to succeed is because we programmed the customer experience into an Access, back then Microsoft Access. It was a database program. It still is actually for Microsoft. We programmed the customer experience into the database. So there's a specific way that you went through a process when you signed up a new subscriber. And it was very consistent. And then our support was systemized. And what is a system anyway? It's simply a collection of habits. So often when people get overwhelmed when they start in a business, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to figure this all out. The very best companies have got manuals, even videos, that document systems. Hey, when this comes up, here's how we approach it from the best practice. Here's the system for that. The very best franchises have amazing systems. Like when you open up a Wendy's franchise, for example, and I've seen some of their franchise guides, it's like, you don't deviate. This is how it's done. You go to the window with a smile on your face. You say these things in this way with presence, care, and compassion. Note. And then boom, you create this consistent customer experience. Here's how we create our food so it's consistent wherever you're at. They have nailed this. But sometimes this falls off depending on who they put in play as management and as employees, the personal side. Can't tell when they're faking it, right? That's why presence, care, and compassion, the more you weave this language into your systems, for example, if you have a set of things somebody needs to do, first thing might be, remember why we do what we do and smile. Instead of go to register, open or type in order, da-da-da. You see how it's interspersed? The systems guide, the manual, the operating manual, if you want to call it that, is interspersed with humanity. Isn't that amazing? I love going over this with you. I hope you're getting something out of it. My challenge for you is you think this through. How well are you doing at creating systems? What tools are you using? How well are you at the automation piece? And I got to tell you, if I rated automation right now, mine's pretty low. We're going into Think Week coming up here, and we're really dialing that in for the next decade. And it's magic is what we're thinking of and going after. How personal? Do really well there. Some people will say, Charly, I got your email, and it went out to like 1,000 people. And they felt like it was to them because I'm able to really get that dialed in. And I help a lot of people with that. Does that all make sense? I hope you're seeing how this really helps. So the idea here, I'm going to reiterate this, is you've got to be living into this consistently over the long term. Huge part to high performance. The number one thing I see when people aren't consistent over the long term is they haven't articulated, journaled, thought through their purpose, why it's important to maintain such a great customer experience. You follow? It's good stuff, isn't it? Oh, I love going over this with you because I love going into places and I reward them very nicely that have great customer experiences, smiles on their face, full presence. I'll even talk about it right here, that what fuels awareness, leads, sales, all this stuff is relationships built on unconditional love. And if I'm writing on the board, you better be writing in your notes. So what is unconditional love? It's like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I just want to make sure you're taken care of for the long term. That's how I approach life. I was very blessed, if you've ever seen my teachings on this previously, to have two incredible role models who taught me, not by saying you need to be unconditional love, just by being it, by just being the people that are unconditional loving. My grandparents, Bob and B. Unconditional love turned to 11 on a 10 scale, like Spinal Tap. But that brought me into great levels of success in my last 30 years in the entrepreneurial space because I bring that into everything I do. You follow? So in line to me just sharing that with you, I'd love for you to assess how much love, we'll bring it out even further, presence, care, and compassion, are you feeling in your business for yourself, but most importantly, for your customers, affiliates, referral sources? And are you demonstrating that consistently? Are you texting them, calling them, taking them out to lunch, maybe having, couples night, doing adventures, fun things with them, whatever that is for you, but doing it from a place of love. You'll notice I'm skipping around the conversation of a place of like, I've got to do it. I got to take these guys out. Not going to enjoy it. That isn't where we're going with this. That's not high performance, and that's why you're doing it. I like the saying that says, if I can't say a heck yeah to something, I say no. Like a full, enthused, engaged, passionate heck yeah. I say no. Big part of this in the unconditional love piece. When you demonstrate unconditional love, especially as a thoughtpreneur, thought leader, when social, tell a great story on Instagram, and then have a picture that shows it, these kind of things ignite. You're different than the rest. Not just putting up pictures with, hey guys, this is what we do, but saying things like, you know what? So many people we've worked with, they struggle with these certain things. Our job is to make sure you're taken care of as if you were family. And then sometimes you got to put a star there and say, not dysfunctional, mean family, but a positive, loving, caring family. Some people have caught me on that one. Did you get the idea? You ready for the next step, or is this too much? I hope you're enjoying this. Let's take a breath. And if you're sitting, let's take a couple breaths, step up, Get some energy in us. High performance move. A couple deep breaths. Really just bring the energy into us. Oxygenate our beautiful bodies. Let's step into the next piece. The very best businesses. And when I think of the best businesses, I'm thinking of well-run, just like oil machines, franchises. This is a great example. They have all of this stuff riding on complete accountability with positive and negative consequences. For example, I worked at a company, quickly became my mentors. This is, I worked at a company before I became an entrepreneur, Brad Hart Products. And everything had a form. Meaning that if I didn't complete my work, I got written up. If I didn't complete my work based on the outputs and the expectations they set, very clear about it, I got written up. If I didn't show up at the time that I was supposed to be there, 1 minute late, I got written up, and I was pissed as an 11th grader. I'm like, I had to stay after and talk to a teacher. Well, you should have let us know. We're writing you a 3-page, white, pink, and yellow. And the pink went in my file, and the yellow went to one of my managers, and the white one I took with me. And it was like, you were late, 1 minute. But the company's frame, their purpose was precision parts, bronze precision parts on time. And it meant everybody in their business had to be on time. And there were complete positive and negative consequences. You show up on time, you got maybe a bonus. You show up on time, they did something special for you, took you to lunch. You contribute and fill out the feedback form and give us good feedback. We're going to pick somebody and give you a gift certificate to a local restaurant every month. They had positive consequences, but they were very clear on the negative consequences. The best franchises dial that in like crazy. So if you're thinking of having exceptional business and you're a mom and pop shop or a one-person operation and you're looking to grow, this is where you need to really dial things in. You also probably need to dial things in from a leadership perspective. You got to learn how to influence. You got to learn some psychology. You got to learn how to persuade. And when I say those things from the high performance perspective, I don't mean persuade people to think your way. You're persuading others. This is a definition in high performance. Feel free to write this down. To help them be better, to help your customers be better. Manipulation is influencing people to your benefit. High performance influence and persuasion is helping people to their benefit. You feel the difference? So there's a lot packed into this. And I just want to make sure you're really clear on where that goes. So and maybe you need to brainstorm this. I'm here for you. Comment below if you need some help here. What kind of consequences, positive and negative, can help keep these systems on track? For example, as a thought leader, if you said, you know what, every week we're going to release a video and an email, and you got a team working with you, and you're automating that, keeping it personal, bringing full presence, care, and compassion, what kind of accountability is there to make sure those things hit on the mark? Are they clear of the outcomes? Hopefully they're clear of the output, but are they clear of the outcomes? If that stuff isn't met, what's the negative consequence? What's the positive consequence? Maybe on a quarterly basis. If we meet these metrics, we're going to celebrate. You guys get a bonus. You follow? Is this all coming together for you? If not, watch the replay, ask questions. If you're in our mastery community, you have 2 times per month. We get on that Zoom call and I go to town and help you out. Make sure you're taken care of. Follow? So, as you probably have noticed, this whole thing rides right on purpose. When your purpose is so clear, this stuff kind of happens automatically. Like you are present, caring, compassionate. We got to do systems? Awesome. Let's make these the best systems ever. Let's automate them and keep them personal. Getting chills just telling you this. And let's make sure we're clear on our accountability, that we got positive consequences if these things are met. We got negative consequences if they're not. Maybe we'll never have to go to those. But we're so clear on how we're going to benefit. You follow? And that's the last piece to this. beautiful model, and I hope you're loving it, is as a business owner, you're ultra clear on your customers' outcomes, and you're ultra clear on your and your employees or your team, depending on how your business is structured, lifestyle outcomes. I love working with teams who are just getting introduced to this model, and I have them take a sheet of paper out and go, if this purposeful business is running and you're a part of it, bringing full presence, care, and compassion, building great relationships, sharing our offers, depending on whether you're in sales or whether you're in the deliverables as part of the systems, delivering the product, making it happen, going through that, fulfilling on it, if you will. What's life look like for you? How are you skipping out of the office if you're going to an office? Just clicking your heels together going, this was such an amazing day. How are you doing that? What's showing up for you? What are the customer outcomes? What are the customers saying to you? I love it when I get feedback from people going, I just got a few this week. Char, that was an amazing session. Char, that was an amazing training. I'm going to really make it my own. I'm going to inspire. You've inspired me to try to get to the level you're at in terms of having this conversation from a place of, extemporaneous speaking. We got a framework to work from, but I'm just coming up with stuff on the cusp. Years and years of training there to make that happen for you. So are you clear? Is your purpose-driven business clear on the customer outcomes? How is their lives going to be better? And I would dare tell you how are you going to help their lives be better consistently so you can tie it to a recurring revenue offer? Remember, recurring revenue is the reason we were able to retire. They bought us for our subscriptions. They didn't buy that business, acquire that business for anything but that. They were really clear about that. That was 89% of our revenue or 88% of our revenue was the subscriptions, and there was 10%. And they're like, we see that as more of a liability, but we're going to get that anyway because we believe in community and keeping things the same. Where we did computer sales and some other stuff, like training and stuff like that. But we were clear. We wanted a full customer experience. We wanted people to be taken care of, to be trained, to be able to buy a computer they knew would work on the internet, to be helped along the way. We were really clear on the customer outcomes, and we were clear on our lifestyle outcomes, although, as I said, this was developed after that business. I missed the mark because I put on a lot of weight, and I let the business run me in many ways. But if I was to do business now, which I have, if I was to redo that business now, this would be everything, and I would go over it with our team, and we would brainstorm and journal in each of these areas. So I hope you're seeing the power of the the exceptional business model. This is the ultimate business model. Let's call it that. Cool? Adult Learning Theory says, I got to review this with you. If this is new to you, you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed. This is new to you. Like, I don't even know where to start. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of hints. Start with you. Watch the training on the 10 areas. You got to dial yourself in order to be able to handle this load. And then bring one thing on a week, one thing on a month. There's 12 months in a year, 52 weeks in a year. 12 months in a year, 52 weeks in a year. That's a lot of opportunity for you to bring things on and just focus on one thing per week or per month, depending on the magnitude of it. You follow? So we started with the 5 Ps. Every exceptional business is incredibly clear, and they're consistent about checking in with how purposeful they are, how passionate they are, not only for themselves, but how passionate their employees are. They notice when employees are losing passion or subcontractors, whatever that would be. They're positive, bringing the joy. They're productive, going after the bigger picture, taking care of deliverables, fulfilling on orders, while doing research and going after those kind of things too, to make sure they're seeing around corners what's coming down the pike. And they're profitable. And usually, these 4 dialed in, the 5th one happens automatically. Does that make sense? Because when you dial that in and you've got very clear offers that really help the world, and you're putting unconditional love into them, and you've really listened, this transaction piece happens automatically. The 10 areas will help you. Sleep, hydration, eating, breaks, happiness, exercise, ... The most profitable, most fulfilling, most desirable offers. What is that? I always teach the people I work with to go after one, a quarter, a half year, try to map or align that when that offer, if this makes sense, is most apt to be used or taken advantage of, or the problem that it solves is most apparent. For example, with service companies we work with, there's air conditioning, great example. In Florida, summers really work an air conditioner. So about February or March, let's go out and maintain these things. Let's go out and see if there's any failures that are imminent coming up. And let's get a campaign going to really ignite that with our existing customers, but also put the word out from an awareness perspective in the bigger picture to generate some new leads, maybe get some new sales, some new transactions. You follow? Remember, relationships built on unconditional love. The best businesses get this, and you can sense it. You feel it. You know it. And it's awesome. Then we go to the exceptional business model, which I think we did a pretty good job of just now. You, your customers, affiliates, referral sources, relationships, creating, building, maintaining, I'll say exceptional relationships. You've got offers that totally make sense. You asked, you've co-created the offer. Here's the product, service, solution that I have. If you'd like to buy it, you are on the hunt to get recurring transactions. Remember the big business. You're bringing presence, care, and compassion. You actually rate and have your employees, your team do this as well, yourself in those areas multiple times throughout the day. That's part of the system that runs your business, which is automated and personal. You could have a system that texts or automatically sends a message. Are you present, caring, compassionate? If not, go reset, recharge, rejuvenate. Or it could just pop a note up, say, enter your numbers. 543. I'm rating myself a 5 out of 10 here, 3 out of 10 here, a 4 out of 10 here. Did I get those numbers right? You see how that can work? And then there's a complete accountability with positive and negative consequences in there. That's where the actions are taken, because there's no better way, is what we teach in high performance, to create necessity, a demand to do something, to take action, than having these things in play. And a lot of times it happens, like Friday at 5, we're going to do our complete accountability. And next thing you know, Friday, they're like, holy moly, I didn't get half the stuff that I was supposed to this week. You see people just fiercely working on their stuff because that's in play and it's done in the right way. Incentive, not like harmful, not out of fear, but out of really helping them be the best so that we can be a purposeful company that's clear on our customer outcomes and clear on our lifestyle outcomes. I know that's a lot. And I just want to thank you for being here and really going through this model with me. But I hope you see how it works. If you think I can help you or consult with you or coach you or whatever, let me know. If you think you need high performance in your life, you saw the theme of that in here, let me know. We got a ton of high performance coaches that would be more than happy to help you out. Really going after this. So of course, training isn't done as we teach in high performance until we really challenge you. So let's walk through our challenges together. The tactics part, to hit the ground running part of our journey. Sound good? Awesome. Very first one, truly assess yourself and your business in each area of the exceptional business model, EBM. Go through these. Really assess it. Maybe take that into your team. Sort that out. Figure it out. Own that. Think about, for you, the 10 areas. You need more articulation there? Take the 10-day Health, Wealth, and Happiness Challenge. I have a link below. Or go into the previous training, the Health, Wealth, and Happiness training. Season 3, Session 1. Season 3, Session 2. I go over it in both of those to kind of get that immersion for you. Assess your business in these areas. Where do you need to develop systems? What tools are you using? Are there better tools? We like Basecamp, Kajabi, Evernote. I do a lot of system documentation in Evernote. So these are just some ideas. We like MailChimp. We like Google Analytics, because that kind of helps here as well. See if things are moving along the path. If you need to define your purpose and you haven't stepped into the high performance work that we do, which is pretty in depth about stirring the pot to get to a purpose over the course of multiple weeks, at least watch Start With Why, the TED Talk with Simon Sinek, and fill out your golden circle and understand how important that is for exceptional businesses. You follow? Really critical that you get that dialed in. Second, think through where you need the most help now and down the road So what I mean by that is, in this model, where do you need the most help? If you're looking in the blue area, that's a high performance conversation. If you're looking in the systems automated personal, that can be high performance, but it also can be just learning what tools. And I'm here for all of that. So if you need help in any of those areas, let me know. If you're like, you know what, we got some systems, but they're not really automated and the messaging that we got in them is not personal, then we need to have that conversation. Maybe we need that accountability conversation. And maybe we need to define that, the blue here. Whatever that is for you, decide what that is. Let me know. When I say down the road, I mean, you know what, right now, I'm doing well as a one-person operation, but if I'm going to scale, I'm going to have to think in the green and red. I don't even know what that looks like. So that might be where you need some help. Third, create your goals or your questions and ask them. If you're not in our mastery community, typically what I do is I film a video response, because if you're asking it, other people might need the answer as well. And I'll share that with you. And we'll make sure that you're taken care of there. If you are in the mastery community, you know we have our 2 Q&As every month. That's what that's for. Email them to me. And then finally, my promise to you is this: we will crush it for you as long as you're bringing unconditional love, presence, care, and compassion. And you know what you've got or what you want to do can really help. As we talk about purpose, help improve people's lives, or help grow other people's businesses somehow. Does that all make sense? So my job on this beautiful planet, as you probably have detected, and I hope you feel the energy and I hope I'm a good role model for you, is this: to help you live into the 5 Ps, to help you feel more purposeful each day. Whether or not you're running a business, even if you're just in a business, not your business, somebody else's, that you're feeling passion and enthusiasm on this short time we have on this beautiful planet, that you're positive psychology, joy, engagement, that you're productive, going after your life streams and ambitions, hopefully it's tied to this, while you're taking care of your responsibilities. And ultimately, that you're profitable, that you've got money coming in to cover your break even, that you've got money to have fun and adventure with, and that you're paying debt down or saving for the future too. That all being said, thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to see how I can help you crush it in the next year, 3 years, 5 years, even the next decade. We're going to go after it together. Love that. Honor to be here with you. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.